Shalom. Kahalo Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Bahashim HaKadosh. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them, the Tartarus is truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word, the truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you. I'm going to start right here with wars and rumors of wars in Matthew 24 and 6. Okay? We always do this. But this is the time we're in, so it's just going to continue to come out like that. All right? King James, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay? So we got rumors of wars, rumors, threats of wars, rumors and threats. Okay? Scroll down. Rumors. And reports of wars. Rumors, threats, reports. Okay, threats, rumors. And news. And the news of battles far away. So we got rumors, threats, reports, and news. All right? I believe that's it. All right, so with that, let's look at some rumors. All right, now I'm going to let this play, because what this guy is going to describe, right, is the situation in Saudi Arabia, all right, because with OPEC and the oil deal, right, that created the petrodollar going back to World War II, at the end of World War II. That's how the dollar was so strong, because all oil had to be traded in U.S. dollars, which made the United Snakes of America rich. Right now, that oil deal came to an end, I believe, in 2019, and the Arabs could not wait. The Saudis couldn't wait for it to be over. Now they could do what the hell they want. And so when they shunned Joe Biden, as far as, re-upping the deal or continuing on as partners, they said, hell no. So, and last year, this guy's going to go into it. He's going to go into, well, they took their missile shield away, because part of the deal was you trade all oil in U.S. dollars and we'll protect you. So last year, Biden took away the missile shield because that thing started to deteriorate after the time limit was up. Okay, after it came to an end, it just started to deteriorate. So they took the missiles away, and then U.S. said, okay, now Iran's going to come and get you, right? Iran is going to come and get you. And that's what this guy is going to go into. He's going to go into the threat, right, which is a rumor. How do we know it's a rumor, right? And how do we know? This guy is going to say, really, what's going on is, because America is no longer protecting the Saudis ran to the Russians. And anybody that knows anything about geopolitics knows that Iran is already with the Russians. So then why would Iran attack Saudi Arabia if they're all on the same team? And this guy's going to break that down. And after he breaks it down and says that that's a rumor that anybody in the Middle East is going to attack Saudi Arabia, right? We're going to show you in the scriptures where it says that. All right, so let's let him do his diatribe. He's going to set it up right, so I'm going to let it play.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Popular Preparedness. Today we're going to be talking about what's going on with Iran and Saudi Arabia.
Now, let me quickly say this. What is special about the Middle East? Okay, and let's get that real quick. All right. Here's what's special about the Middle East. Joel 3 and 2. Okay. This is what God says. All right. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of right? And this is where the Battle of Armageddon is going to be fought. Right here in the NLT, it says, I will gather the armies of the world into the Middle East, okay, for the last war. That's what's special about the Middle East or the Arab land, all right? This is where the last battle is going to, now that's all I'm going to do on that. We'll go back to this. That's what's special. Whatever's going on in Eastern Europe right now, whatever's going on in Southeast Asia, in the South China Sea, whatever's going on in Korea, whatever's going on in Ethiopia, whatever's going on all around the world, all of that is going to culminate into the Middle East. Okay.
It feels like it's the other side of the world, at least to Americans and to people in Europe. It seems like it's very, very far away. If you're in Australia, well, everything feels very far away. I'm sorry, do you feel that way? In fact, I feel like I wish that was the case for me right now. But anyway, so Iran and over in Saudi Arabia, these are big things happening over there. Now, we just heard out that there's a warning out of the U.S. government that Iran was going to attack Saudi Arabia. And then just today we see this video coming out from one of Iranian Revolutionary Guard's Twitter accounts, Telegram accounts. That's not allowed on Twitter still. But you're allowed to do that on Telegram. You're allowed to threaten other countries.
He said threaten. Wars and rumors of war, wars and threats of war. Okay. A rumor is what? Propaganda that may or may not be true. All right. And this is what he's describing right now. So most likely, Iran didn't even do this. This is propaganda by the U.S. that big bad Iran is coming to get you, Saudi Arabia, because you're not fucking with us anymore. This is what he's saying.
And so they produced a video. It was like a bunch of drones, Iranian drones, attacking Saudi oil facilities, kind of like a threat, you know. Now this account is not some small fly-by-night account. This is an account with 350,000 subscribers, and this comes right on the heels of Washington D.C. saying that Iran is going to do a strike on Saudi Arabia.
See that? Iran didn't say that. But somebody made a video, right? Well, whoever made that video is in Iran saying that they're going to strike Saudi Arabia. Okay, Iran is all about oil. Saudi Arabia is all about oil. Russia is all about oil. Can you see what's happening? Okay, Brazil is all about oil. All the oil producing countries are coming together. And guess who's being left out? Western Europe and the United States. That's what was World War II about? It was largely fought about oil and energy. Right?
Now remember, there's a lot more going on here, right? The United States, Saudi Arabia, Israel is all kind of like against Iran, more or less. Some people have thought that they could negotiate with Iran and sent them airplanes full of cash.
Slovakia. I gotta break it up. Hold that thought. Here we go.
That didn't work out so well. Anyway, so Iran has buckets.
He was talking about Barack Obama sent airplanes full of cash to the Iranians to try to get them, to try to bribe them, and they just took the money. That was
cash, planefuls of cash. How nice for them. Not giving it to Americans, but giving it to Iranian Revolutionary Guard to be used for terror attacks. Anyway, there are massive protests happening around Iran that America and others are tacitly and sometimes openly supporting.
Trying to destabilize the government so that they could put a puppet regime, and that's the MO of Babylon the Great. Okay, United Snakes of America. Carry on.
who are basically trying to overthrow the government and make it so that women don't have to wear burqas, which are an Iranian pastime, making women wear burqas.
It's righteous.
All that to say, there's a lot going on in Iran, but let's move across the little Persian Gulf there over to Saudi Arabia, because this is big news here. So Saudi Arabia is under threat. The Washington, D.C. is saying they might send a whole bunch of missiles or drones to attack your oil facilities, like they're threatening on their Telegram account to do.
Okay, there it is. That's the U.S. threatening Saudis because they won't play ball anymore. But there's a larger picture going on because Iran is not tripping on Saudi Arabia because they're all together. He's going to say that.
But last year, remember how the United States removed our Patriot batteries, Patriot missile batteries that are used to shoot down drones and missiles and stuff like that? Because we were upset with them. Because a new president was in office and he doesn't like Saudi Arabia.
Joe Biden.
Now, I don't like Saudi Arabia either. I'm terrified of Saudi Arabia. I don't want to go there because I might show up into a prison with, and get my head chopped off.
Oh, sounds like a FEMA camp with guillotines. And you're afraid of what? You need to look inward and see who the real devil is.
That kind of stuff happens there.
Happens here.
Women are not forced to wear burqas, but they are forced to wear stuff and not drive and all sorts of other stuff. And they speak out, they can get executed as well. Saudi Arabia is like Iran light, okay? But Saudi Arabia has been the United States pit bull for a long time and has been on the United States leash. However, when we decided to pull out our Patriot missile defense systems out of Saudi Arabia, when we started removing troops, when we started to withdraw our hand of support, that's about the time when Saudi Arabia started saying, well, maybe we shouldn't just play for Team America. Maybe we should start, looking to see if there's a better deal out there. And just last week, they came out and said, we want to join BRICS. Do you know who's in BRICS? Well, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, BRICS. But there's now kind of another eye in there, and Iran is it's not a full member, but it's a partial member of BRICS. So Saudi Arabia comes out and says that they want to join BRICS. And so the United States is there like, hey, Iran's going to actually try to blow you up. Now, why would Iran, part of BRICS, want to blow up a country that wants to join BRICS?
Over the past 6 months,
is this making sense? Because we're going to show what he's saying is right in the scriptures. Let me continue.
Does that sound at all suspicious to you? Are you busy being gaslighted again?
By the United Snakes of America?
Yeah. And Russia blew up the pipeline. Sure they did. Sure they did. All right. They're coming out with evidence, apparently, about who blew up the pipeline. They have evidence, as opposed to Western powers who have physical control of the pipeline and the investigation site, but they refuse to bring out any information on who did it. Whereas Bear Country has evidence of who did it and is going to bring it out in the open. You ever feel like you're playing for the wrong team? You ever feel like freedom and liberty and everything like that have stopped being an American trait and have started becoming a trait of the people that we like to drop bombs on?
Deceived. Okay. Somebody said a jet plane passed by and somebody goes, that's the sound of freedom. No, that's the sound of genocide.
What? In 2020, a certain presidential candidate, who is now resident-in-chief in the White House, said very little social redeeming value in the present government in Saudi Arabia. Now, apart from the fact that that is grammatically incorrect, let's just say when he went to Saudi Arabia, it didn't go so well. Why didn't it go so well? Well, because he hates Saudi Arabia and has openly said so, and Saudi Arabia listened to what he said. And Saudi Arabia is now pivoting away from the United States to BRICS. Now, if you're anyone like me, you'd say, well, good riddance, right? Because they are a tyrannical, evil, corrupt company.
But who is even more tyrannical, evil? Who goes and takes? When's the last time that Saudi Arabia went into somebody else's land, exterminated all the people, stole the land, and now is moving from that land since they're closer to the operation and plotting to take more land? Okay, that sounds like NATO. It sounds like the EU, including the UK and the United Snakes.
In that regard, I have to agree with Biden that there is very little social redeeming value in the present government in Saudi Arabia. However, they are also sitting on vast stores of oil.
Bingo. Who's moving in on Uganda right now? Oh, it sounds like somebody's sick over there. Let us go over there and shoot up a bunch of arms and steal it. We three thieves be stealing the gold.
Allegedly a lot less than what they say they're sitting on. But that's a whole nother story about how they're basically lying about how much oil they have. But anyway, getting back to it, Saudi Arabia is our pit bull. And the United States dollar, pegged on allegedly nothing, is actually pegged on one thing, and that is the promise of Saudi oil. Saudi Arabia has agreed to never sell oil to anyone for anything other than a dollar. So basically, we backed our currency with Saudi oil. The problem is, if Saudi starts selling it to everyone else without using the dollar, the US dollar literally becomes just paper, backed by nothing. Allegedly backed by the US economy, but that's a joke. It's not a funny joke, it's just a joke. All that coming around, we desperately need Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia is looking at us and saying, well, we don't desperately need you. And they realize that they're holding a full deck of cards and our leader isn't. You know what I'm saying? So they are starting to reassess their relationship with the United States, especially since the United States is going to be carbon neutral by 2040 or some such nonsense. So the United States is saying, we're not going to use oil anymore in the future. Oh, and we're not going to protect Saudi Arabia anymore in the future because that's kind of the other part of the deal. They sell their oil only for dollars and we protect them. And we've been pulling back on protecting them. Now,
Over the past
All right, that's good. We'll end it there. You get the gist of what's going on. All right, so let's consult the scriptures and find out what is going on. First, we'll go back to Joel. All right, and the Most High. Right, what is He bringing? Let's go here. Okay, I will gather the armies of the world into the. This is Joel 3:2. Armies of the world and bring them. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay, the valley of Jehoshaphat or Yehoshaphat is in Israel proper, but it's talking about the general area. Okay, the whole Middle East. There I will judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations, and for dividing up my land. This is World War III. I will gather the armies of the world. World War III. All right, they're fighting on different fronts and in different theaters at the moment, but eventually all of them are coming down into the Middle East. Okay, now let's see who is going to be on whose side. Well, first let me get this. Joel 3:9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. This is World War III. All right? Good enough. Now, 2nd Ezra 15. See that? 15 and 28. Behold, an horrible vision. Now listen to the words. And the appearance thereof from the east, when the nations of the dragons of Saudi Arabia, dragons of Arabia, as in Saudi Arabia, not just Saudi Arabia, but the nations of the dragons of Arabia, the Arabs, shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Okay, so there's your Saudi Arabia and all of those Arab nations, right? Including Saudi, what? Arabia, the Arabs, okay? Also, what does that mean? And the Carmanians. Who are the Carmanians? The Iranians, the Persians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come. Now listen close. And join battle with them. With who? The dragons of Arabia. So Iran is not going to fire missiles on Saudi Arabia. No. They're going to do what? Join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Okay, and it goes on. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. He's a wild man. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. All right, so no, this guy is right in his assessment. Salakia. And I'm going to bring out his name. I didn't do that correctly, but this is about what's going on in Saudi Arabia. Okay.
We've gone through quite a few wars in the Middle East in order to secure the oil. Now we're just going into wars across the world for no apparent reason whatsoever.
No. What is the apparent reason? You're going because the Most High is gathering the armies of the world. Here's the reason you're going into the Middle East. Because God said, I, God, I, Yahweh, will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Why? Here's the reason. You don't know the reason. Here's the reason. There will I judge them. He's bringing all of the armies of the world together for what? To destroy them. There will I judge them. Why are you going to destroy them? For harming my people. Uh-oh. Who are your people? The Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. My special possession. And why else? For scattering my people among the nations, right? That's what you're being judged for, what you did. That's harming my people and scattering them. And for what? For dividing up my land. What? Your land? Where's your land? The land of Israel? Not the people, but the land of Israel? Well, who's there right now? Certainly not his people. You got people there calling themselves Israel, and they're not, but do lie, right? Whoever is there is dividing up the land between him. Well, you got the Palestinians, right? And the ancient name for Palestinian or Palestine, right, what's the name, ancient name for Palestinian? Philistine. All right? And the Philistines are not Arabs. The Philistines are Africans, the sons of Ham. People calling themselves the Palestinians are Arabs. Those Arabs are Shemitic, from the sons of Shem. The Palestinians, the Philistines, are the sons of Ham, Noah's son. Okay? And the people that are there calling themselves Israel, they're Shemitic too, but they're not Israel. They're Edom. Now, why is everybody being gathered into the Middle East? Why are all the armies of the world being gathered together into the Middle East? Because they will be put to death there. They're going to be put on trial. Where? In the Middle East, I will put them on trial for what they did to my inheritance, my people Israel. There will I judge them for harming my people. And I will enter into judgment with them there on behalf of my people. What does it mean to enter into judgment? Guilty. Now you suffer the judgment. The judgment is death. Okay? And we can go into the death. We can go into what is going to happen in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay? We can show you what will befall all of the armies that are gathered together. This is 2 Ezra 13 and 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude. There's World War III. There's the valley of Jehoshaphat. And fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. Because they're going to try to fight against the angels, right? In the middle of World War III, the angels and Yahushua are going to get into the fight. And here's what happened. And burn them up. This is the judgment. And burn them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived. Meaning they all got burned the hell up, but only dust and smell of smoke. That's what happened. Okay, if we go back to Joel, okay, 3, and we read it, all right? Proclaim, Joel 3 and 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Let them come up. All right, jump down to 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. All right, so that's them fighting in World War III. Then what happens? Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. That's when the angels and the one you ignorantly call Jesus get into World War III. Now we come back here, and this is what happened. And they were all mixed together. The blast of fire, flaming breath, the great tempest fell with violence upon the multitude. That's World War III, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived. They got that ass whooped, but only dust and smoke. They were lasered to death. All the armies of the world. That was the judgment. So when this guy says, why are we even going down? There's no reason. There is a reason. Judgment. Why? For what they did to the Most High's people.
Oh, and we're not going to protect Saudi Arabia anymore in the future, because that's kind of the other part of the deal. They sell their oil only for dollars, and we protect them. And we've been pulling back on protecting them. Now, we've gone through quite a few wars in the Middle East in order to secure the oil. Now we're just going into wars across the world for no apparent reason whatsoever.
No, for judgment, for what you did to God's chosen people. What is that judgment? Being turned into dust and smell of smoke and you have no more military to protect your nation, okay, then it's all over for you. Here comes the kingdom of heaven, in which God's people, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, are going to be in rulership and get that payback. Okay? That's the reason. You have anything more to say?
Which is arguably worse. We don't even have an interest over in Eastern Europe, and yet we're.
Why are you going? Why are you being drawn over there? You don't even know. We'll end it right there. All right. This is the World War III Daily Update, the last one for this week. We hope that the elect were edified. You brothers and few sisters, with that, we're going to say shalom.